Hey, this is Ben, and this is the 28th stanza of The Art of Peace. Just check in real quick. I'm sitting in my car. Right foot is settled on the right side, right edge. Left foot's grounded, fully grounded. Pelvis. And lifting my tailbone, or more sending my tailbone backwards more. I've noticed that I move with my tailbone kind of under. It not a lot, but I've noticed it's kind of underneath. And so I've been just shifting it slightly towards the rear, sending it rear, softening my abs. Used to, when I was real fat, hate saying that word, fat. The word fat makes me feel shame, fat. When I hid my shame of being fat as a kid, I used to suck my stomach in and hunch my shoulders forward. Now, come to think about it, I wonder if that made me, helped me in football. I have no idea, but as a thought just popped into my head. I wonder if that played a role. Who knows? Anyway, kind of lost my trail of thought there. Shame, yeah. The feeling, just anyway. The pulling in was something I had to teach myself how not to do. So I'd always pull in. So I had to kind of open that up and let that go. It took me a long time to kind of build that into an autopilot. It's the same with the pelvis. So I think it participated with the pelvis, so that pulling in. Now the rounding forward of my shoulder blades, yeah, that participated as well. So, I mean, in a sense they're all separate, but in a sense they're all connected, and it's all part of the picture. So all of those pieces are connected to all the other pieces, and as I continue the practice, I just start to notice these connections, these relationships a little bit more. Anyway, working my way up to my throat. Yeah, so when I put that together, grounding down, sending pelvis down and back slightly, it creates a little bit of an arch in my back. My belly comes forward a little bit. I can drop my shoulder blades, into that space and drop my chin. I see my kid moving like this all the time. Allegra has it's like her whole body is rubber bands. And so when she's standing comfortably, her rear sticks back just a little bit. She has a nice curve in her spine. Her shoulder blades drop down, and her chin often is resting on her chest. Her neck's that long, not that long anyway, back of the neck. And then watch her whole body move, the little body move when she breathes. So she has no awareness of that. So I'm recognizing that her body's not holding any tension. And a body like that kind of represents the way gravity can kind of operate on top, or you can operate on top of gravity. So I mimic her a lot. Anyway, I've been coming closer and closer to spending more time like this than my old habits. So we've talked about this before. Your thoughts can show up as language or images, but those same thoughts at the same time that you're thinking them are showing up as sensation. And so my sensation, my shame, I held my shame in my entire body. Now, I used to always just think about it from the perspective of my stomach, my chest, but it was everything. And even deeper down still, because when we're talking about form and feel, thought, there's also like the feeling all together. See, all together, the form, the external world, how I interacted with my external world, how I felt about my body, how my body felt, how I perceived that. I perceived that as a weakness. I had to fix it. I had to overcome it. I had to fix it. And then that led into the deeper stuff, limiting beliefs, and that's where all this thing, all your perception, your form, your feel, all that comes together as a full experience, and it blends into your beliefs about life in general, the belief structures you have about how things work, how things are always going to be, how things have always been. So that feels bigger. It feels like a wave out. It feels like a flowing, a resonance, more like as opposed to, it's more complex. It's like the difference between the scales of music and a symphony. The scales of music have a kind of a singular quality. A symphony is flowing, and so the symphony of the experience, the sensation of shame and self-loathing and how that related to the future, the fullness of that would show up and would just take over. That taking over meant that at the very least I had to expend all my energy managing it, keeping it from causing me to be embarrassed or feel even more shame. And the more that took place, the less I was being authentic, and the more I was being the attempt at perfection. I was I was being the ego, the notion that I could figure it out, that I could make it work, that I could control for. And it became very evident through most of my life that attempts at that were rarely, if ever, successful for very long. I mean, I could get positive movement. I could get it, but it wouldn't stick. There was just this chunkiness to what I was trying to do, and it wasn't authentic. And I felt that, and so I wasn't my best. I was trying to operate at my best, but through the attempt at trying to do that, I missed it. And I have a blessed life, so I was able to experience flow or total immersion in moments and just be awed by them. An attempt to try to get them back. And then when things would go bad, I'd be upset and I'd try to get away from them and attempt to get back to the good stuff. And so, just this back and forth, my failure at achieving my goals caused me shame. The thought of shame, the projections of shame, the bodily experience of shame, they all contributed to my experience. But I kept getting these hints. I kept getting these hints at a path. There's a path through all this. And as I became aware of the path and the ways through, there started to be periods where I could interact with the moments that I was feeling down and have equanimity, and interact with the moments when I was feeling up and have equanimity. As I did this, I began to experience that with awareness, the actual physical sensation of what I was doing, and be able to see the thoughts I was thinking. So I was able to see both. And through that ability to see both, I was able to recognize that I wasn't either. I was the awareness of what was going on. And as I began to notice this, I stopped being consumed by the experience, the thoughts, as much. And as that happened, I began to be more authentic. And as that happened, I began to experience things that were awful, that felt awful, that thought awful, without being consumed by them. And then when they were done, I was able to easily transition. I was able to be inside powerful, optimistic, wonderful things and not become overconfident. I was able to totally lose my presence completely, feel complete shame for losing my presence, and be present while feeling ashamed for not being present, so that there never wasn't presence. And when that happened, there started to be a very clear flow to my day. Some symphonies, the experience of the day was very quick and robust and fast and energetic, and others were bum 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 bum. Some were to dream the impossible dream, to run when our legs are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. Dun, 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 dun. Others were dun 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 dum 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 dum. Other days were like gratitude, thank you life, 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 thank you life. Others were, what the fuck? Motherfucker, fuck. Some days had everything mixed throughout. Anyway, the experience was one of interacting with life as it is, as opposed to life as the way I thought it could or would or should be. And so as I began to interact with whatever life was at any given moment, there began an opportunity to be more authentic, to proceed not as though I'm being pulled or falling off a cliff, but as though I'm making a conscious step forward. Am I doing this from my authentic self, or am I doing this from an old story or my ego or an old habit? And I've just been building on that. I mean, that's what the art of peace is. You start building on this phenomena, this truth. It's the art of peace. That's what it is. You're practicing peace in art, as an artistic, a completely creative expression. So building. And that's what I've been doing now for. The art of peace is just a nice 114-step process, and it can be done in a month. It could be done in one stanza a year. It could be done, maybe not one stanza a year. It could be done one stanza a month, one stanza a week, one stanza a minute, maybe even one stanza a second. Whatever that would work. 114, maybe think about it. So anyway, that's the idea of it. Now, I'm going to read the Art of Peace for today, and then I'm going to talk you through it in a gym exercise. So the 28th Art of Peace is this: the only cure for materialism is cleansing of the six senses: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. If the senses are clogged, one's perception is stifled. The more it is stifled, the more contaminated the senses become. This creates disorder in the world, and that is the greatest evil of all. Polish the heart, free the sixth senses, and let them function without obstruction, and your entire body and soul will glow. Oh man, I could dig into this, but I'm not going to. I'm going to keep it short. Alright, I'm going to turn this back on when I get to the gym. So, imagine you're walking into the gym, or be innovative and actually go to your gym and turn it on now. So first sound, sensation of opening the door. Good morning, hey. Now at any given moment, you're interacting with others, you're interacting with your surrounding. You can go into feet, pelvis, core, heart space, throat, top of the head. Now you're always transitioning. Nothing's ever still. So immediately I'm transitioning to putting my shit away. I can do that mindfully. Feet, tailbone, belly button, heart, throat, brain, breath, top of the head. Now, full gym. I don't have a plan. I'm going to look for the open space. Open space. What's the simplest, most accessible thing? Now, as I'm moving, people are everywhere. People are everywhere, and there's this element of fear with regards to what I'm doing, what other people are thinking about what I'm doing, and how it's being perceived. So that's an interruption of flow, so I just simplify things, come to the closest thing I can find, and that is your classic leg extension. So, first things first, connect to the machine as it is. As it is. Don't even change the weight. Just connect to the machine as it is. Once you've connected to the machine, engage your awareness into the front edge. So the front edge is the first moment you experience resistance. Once you've established the first moment of resistance, you go into your feet, your pelvis, your core, heart space, throat, top of the head. Now, as you take a full breath in, just notice what you feel. What do you perceive about the environment? As you exhale, begin the exercise. Now, take the first couple of reps to gather intelligence. Look for things that you can notice. How smooth is the operation of the machine itself? Is it creaking or is it smooth? Is there an even sensation at all locations, at the feet, at the pelvis, at the core, at the heart, at the throat, at the top of the head? Once you've gone through some rounds, go ahead and drop that all out, relax, and just take a moment and determine if the energy output you just made is just enough, is too much, too little, or just right. So for me, that was too much. I'm going to lighten the load. Now I've got more space, more effort to deploy or to settle into. So reconnect to the front edge, feet, tailbone, belly button, heart, throat, brain, breath, begin. Now what's cool about the hoist machine is that it moves. The whole thing moves. So now I have the ability to interact with this machine in ways that are unique. And so I've extended my legs all the way out, and I'm locking them down and spiraling in and out with one leg, shifting the sensation of the feet. Sensation feels sturdy, like a board, reliable, strong. Got plenty of energy here. So now what you're going to do is you're going to go through rounds, 3 rounds. First round, do whatever you want. Then you're going to create a break. Break in a round is a drop, full exhale. Notice change in the body. You're staying present with the flow of change, not effort, the softening. Staying present with softening. Then second round, connect the front edge, the first moment of resistance. Feet, tailbone, belly button, heart, throat, brain, breath. Second round. Number of reps is inconsequential. It's the experience you're after. Now, in your second round, you might start to notice more sensation in the body. Immerse yourself in that sensation. Where does it feel? What does it feel? Does it feel smooth? If it feels smooth, see if you can interact with it? Can you send it somewhere? Maybe send your tailbone towards the back of the chair. Feel effort towards the buttocks. Lift the core, maybe squeeze your hands a little bit. Build effort. Work hard. See if you can pull your toes towards it. Work, and drop. Notice the increased awareness of soften at the feet, soften at the pelvis, soften at the core, soften at the heart, soften at the throat, soften at the head. Full breath. Notice change in the body. Now you've got knowledge from 2 rounds inside this exercise. So now with that knowledge, you can move forward more informed by what's available to you and with more confidence knowing that you can just blend and do whatever you want. So we're going to start the 3rd round the same way we started the other ones. But now, from what you know, begin to interact with this experience and allow it to just evolve. If you want a mindset, have a mindset of friendly curiosity. What happens if I do this? Or what happens here? And just allow for the moment to become immersive. All right? I'll start you, but then I'm going to leave you to it. The first moment of resistance. Feet, pelvis, core, heart, throat, top of the head. Full breath in. You're on your own. Make sure you press your edge with wisdom. If you're full in and you can't smoothly come out and consciously drop out, you're too far into your edge. Now, the idea is as you embody friendly curiosity, you'll move into a space that you never would imagine, that never would have come to mind, because it doesn't exist in the mind, it only exists in the moment. Setup. You set up the environment for this to take place. You become immersed in the experience. All right, I'm going to reread the last stanza, or the 28th stanza, and then I'm done. The only cure for materialism is the cleansing of the 6 senses: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. If the senses are clogged, one's perception is stifled. The more it is stifled, the more contaminated the senses become. This creates disorder in the world, and that is the greatest evil of all. Polish the heart, free the 6 senses, and let them function without obstruction, and your entire body and soul will glow. King, out.